Well, welcome to Hamilton County TV and the Coach David Sharpe Show. Welcome, Coach.
Perry, good to see you.
Good seeing you. Well, first of all, let's just talk a little bit about the heartbreaking loss at Franklin Central last week, as Franklin Central came out on top 28-22. So kind of take us through it a little bit, Coach.
Right. It's a tremendous front seven that Franklin Central has. They have seemingly a dozen guys that rotate in at D-line, D-end, linebacker, outside linebacker that are big, strong, physical guys. So we knew it was going to be a little tough getting started, and we did not get off to that good start. We went 3 and out to start the game. We got a good start stopping them, but then we go 3 and out, have to punt, and then they score. On our second drive, we just decided to throw the ball deep, and we just missed a big 30-40 yard gain. Just overthrow it by an inch, and that leads us to a second 10. We end up not getting that and having to punt, and then we had to punt again. So we went 3. I don't think we had more than 5 yards in the first quarter, which is a disastrous start for us, getting down 14-0. But as we've proven, we do not quit when we get down, and we march right down the field. A great drive. I think the big difference between this game compared to the other past couple games is we have our quarterback back, and I know we don't throw the ball a ton, but that's because we've used second and third string quarterbacks this year, and Doc Meinerding has played his first game basically since Mount Vernon. He got hurt in the very first sequence of Terre Haute game, and losing him for 4 games was a very difficult challenge to overcome. We like to, or what I've always liked to do is tailor our offense to what the quarterback's good at in the offseason, and Doc put in so much work, January, February, March, April, May, all the way up through July, getting 90% of the reps, and we put all the wrinkles that we think he would be good at, and just we're so excited about his senior season, and then to have a fluky little shoulder injury against Terre Haute just devastated us. And now having him back, we just noticed, like, wow, we click a little bit more in practice. We're able to use the wrinkles now that we've practiced with him, and we use some of those wrinkles in against Franklin Central. But he's phenomenal at the keep play, and I know he had 4 or 5 big runs. I think he ran for over 100 yards, and that's an enormous part of our offense that we felt we didn't have a ton of confidence using the past 3 or 4 games, and now we feel much more complete offensively, and it's just great to have our guy back. I mean, unanimously voted team captain as a junior and a senior, and so getting him back is huge. But I loved how we marched downfield. We were able to cut it to 14-8. Going for 2 was obviously big, and then getting another stop before half, and having a chance to score and take the lead before half, and getting the ball, but we could not finish that drive. And I think one of the biggest plays of our season is we get I think it was a 16-yard run. We ran a power right, and we burst through, and we cut back, and it looks beautiful. It's the way we practice it. And their doggone backside safety just gets, I'm talking, a finger on our jersey, and it slows us down just enough to where they tackle us for a gain of 16, but I mean, it's a millimeter from being a gain of 40, which would have made it, 15-14 at half, but obviously that didn't happen. Threw a couple Hail Marys before half. That didn't happen. That didn't work out. But take the opening kick down 14-8, march right down the field, and in the way that we have to score is manufacturing big, long 8, 10, 12 play drives, and that's exactly what we did. And getting Gage goalie. Gage played quarterback the past 3 weeks, and now he's back to his halfback spot, and we're able to use him as our guy that punches in those short yardage runs, and he's got a knack for that. You have a guy that, when I first got hired here, I heard about what a great wrestler, great football player, just a great overall kid goalie is, and you talk about kind of a crazy sophomore season for him playing running back. Doc goes down, and it's like, hey, play quarterback real quick, and manages the offense very, very well, and now he's right back at halfback. So he's got such a great future for us as a wrestler and a football player. and he was able to punch a couple of those touchdowns, 2-point conversions in. So taking that 15-14 lead was, it felt like that Mount Vernon game. We're on the road, hostile environment, sellout crowd, and there's that euphoria that, like, we got this. We spotted them this early lead, but we're back. We got the lead. And then, our special teams, we have not put together a complete game on special teams, and we give them great field position on our kickoff, and they're able to convert a 4th and 2, and it felt like that was a huge turning point in the game when we jump off sides on 4th and 2 on their 10-yard line, and kind of felt like they were going to settle for a field goal, but we jumped, and they end up scoring. They go for 2, get it by an inch, it seems like, and all of a sudden we're down 7. But when we're down 7, that's when we did not respond offensively, and we had 2 very, very, very disappointing sequences. We have the ball in plus territory, and we have to punt. We lose yardage on our 2 third-down attempts, just trying to get it into 4th and manageable. And I was not very happy with that response offensively. We scored one late with 5 minutes and 15 seconds left. Doc had about a 50-yard run, doing things that we're tailoring the offense to his strengths this year, and we're starting to see that pay huge dividends for us, especially in the running game. And we had all 3 timeouts and 5 minutes and 15 seconds left. We're going to get a chance to get the ball back here, and we kick the ball deep, and they return it to the 50-yard line, and it's our special teams. It's no excuse. We have to get better at it, and we're putting a lot of pressure on our defensive players because most of those guys are on kickoff team, on punt team, and on kickoff return team. And but still having 3 timeouts, and they were able to get, I believe, 3 first downs to ice the game, and it was just it was a rough game. It had, again, flashes of wonderful performance offensively and defensively from us, and then just the lulls that we've had this year in our losses they're long lulls. That's when the O and D and special teams don't play well for 5 minutes at a time, kills us. And we can only learn. I think we're getting better. I think at this point last year, I don't know if our kids believed that they could beat the teams on our schedule. The huge difference, I know we're losing games, but the huge difference is we know we can win. We're in these games, and we're just not quite making the big play. And so it's a different kind. I think we're 2-4 last year. We're 2-4 this year. It's a totally different 2-4 though. It's a totally different feeling.
Absolutely.
We told the kids ifs and buts, we can be 5-1 very easily. But we have to make big plays. And you talk about Hamilton Southeastern, they're 5-1, right? They have made enormous plays on 4th down and 3rd and 4th down, but they rise to the occasion, and a lot of that's because they're 2- and 3-year starters there. And our guys we're trying to simulate as much 3rd and 4th down pressure on them in practice this week to rise to the occasion and get those money plays. Because we're a very good team offensively, defensively on 1st and 2nd down. We really are. When you look at all of our analytics and stuff like that, it's 3rd and 4th down that's killing us.
And like you said, we'll switch to Hamilton Southeastern, the game coming up here, and Coach, as I always say, in the Hoosier Crossroad Conference, top to bottom, it's a brutal schedule, and you go on the road again to Hamilton Southeastern, and which they have a very good running game. But one of the comments that I looked this up last week on our rushing game, actually right now we're within 50-60 yards of having as many yards as we had the entire year last year in 10 games. Okay, I think we were right around a little over 2,200, and now we're a little over probably 2,150, something like that. So we're real, the rushing game and those type of things are much better than they were last year. With Doc back, these last 3 games are very, very important to us going into the section. Let's talk a little bit about Southeastern, because they're, as far as the running game, they're much like us. They gain a lot of yards on the ground, and they don't throw the ball very much.
Right. They're a read option team with very heavy personnel, 12 personnel most of the time. I mean, they like to use their big tight ends and trade them and motion them and use those tight ends in unique ways. And I coached there 2 years ago, and Coach Colin Jasper, who helps me on offense, he coached there for 4 years, and so we know the kids very, very well at Southeastern. We know their personnel very well. But it's funny, when I was there 2 years ago, I worked with the defense, and Sam Jacobs was just a tremendous scout team quarterback for us, and we had pretty good defense that year at HSE, and I love seeing Sam having the success he's having, because he was a great scout team quarterback. He got that defense ready. I loved working with him 2 years ago, and same thing with like a lot of these other players that they have that are producing. It's like, oh yeah, I remember that kid as a sophomore. Now he's grew 3 inches and gained 40 pounds, and he's having a great senior year. A lot of these kids are for HSE, so they deserve to have the success they're having. They're a nightmare, like I said, with their read option, because Sam is probably the fastest player in the conference. When he's gone, he's gone. How many 80 or 90-yard runs does he have this year? It seems like every week he pulls off an enormous run and just outsprints the secondary of Zionsville, of Fishers, of all these teams, and that gets them going. But what's terrifying is if he does choose to hand the ball off, Blaine Wirtz and Owen Jones are killing people too, and they're having great seasons. They make great cuts off of that good offensive line. Those tight ends just do a great job, H-backs and tight ends, of fitting in, and they don't throw the ball much, but how many fourth downs have they thrown the ball and just got bailed out by Sam? I know a couple times against Zionsville, huge plays on fourth down. That game goes totally different, but they rose to the occasion. I remember a big fourth down pass against Fishers that they completed as well. So, like I said, that offense has been opportunistic, and there's a reason why they're averaging whatever they're averaging, 30, 40 points a game, maybe more.
Yeah, I think the only game this season they have been under that 35, 40-point number is against Westfield, when they only got 21. So
they still played very well offensively.
Yeah. So they're a very good team, and with Wirtz running the ball, he's been a good player all 3 years of his starting there.
He's a 3-year starter, and it's funny because I remember when I was coaching there, and I think there was Dave White's, their offensive coordinator, who I'm great friends with. There was just a tad bit of hesitation, like, can we really start this little sophomore? He's only 5'4" or whatever. And we're just like, yeah, he's the best player in the team. Give him the ball 30 times a game. I remember and telling him, and it's like we feel like we have our own little version of Blaine Wirtz with Logan Schaffner. You kind of see the same, like, oh yeah, you see that same special quickness and gamer mentality as a sophomore, and. But no, I'm happy for Blaine having all the success. And then, like I said, if they need a break, they can put OJ in. And of course, we know OJ very well since he played for us last year, and he's looking good. He's making some great cuts as well.
Yeah, because we're talking about this running game. Jacobs on 32 carries, he averages 13 yards per carry. Of course, Wirtz 104 carries, but he averages 5.8.
Yep.
Per carry, and OJ 54 carries, 482 yards, was almost 9 yards per carry.
Well, all three of those guys have ripped off big ones, long runs, throughout the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Coach, what about defensively?
For
Southeastern?
Well, they're just as scary. Their front seven is tremendous, and their safeties are tremendous. And again, they all have, the corners are good too. They all have experience, and they're big and strong. They're very big and strong, and you can't watch the film without seeing 48 Evan Sherrill just explode off the film. So he has our full attention. The way he was messing up Tonona from the Notre Dame recruit for Zionsville last week, and just kind of, it's eye-popping how quick and strong he is off the ball. So who knows where they'll line him up against us, but he's definitely got our attention. The two linebackers are tremendous, Constantine and Haas. They're both big, strong, physical kids that I think they'll enjoy playing against us. I think they are downhill, fill a gap kind of linebackers, and then we think Loudon Sunling's tremendous player, probably going to play somewhere on the edge, one of our against our T formation, and then just a slew of defensive linemen that are big, thick, strong, physical kids. So it really is. It's a front seven you don't see it every week in this conference. It's like usually you see 2 or 3 really good players in the front seven. This week there's a lot. And then the 2 safeties, Wolf and Early Wine, are perfect for what they do, and I think they're going to enjoy playing against us. They're downhill, physical kind of defensive backs. So we have our work cut out for us. Now, as much as I respect them, our kids are preparing to win the game. Our kids are preparing to grind out long drives. Our kids are preparing to stop this read option game with all these wonderful backs and quarterbacks that can run the ball. And we are up for any challenge. I think the more you show respect for an opponent, as we have this week, I think the more the kids kind of perk up, like, wow, these guys are good, but we do believe it. We believe in the kids, and the kids know we believe in them. When we constantly show, like, man, if we just would have done this instead of that against FC, this instead of that against Zionsville, this instead of that against Fishers and Westfield, they know that they're close. And I think the focus at practice thus far this week is dialed up just a little bit more than it needs to. They know that our margin for error is very slim, and I'm very excited to be right now 0-0 with Southeastern. We have a couple more days to practice and prepare, but I'm very, very excited about our team's mentality. And we've played some rough road games. Every game we go to is a sellout crowd with a crazy student section, and this week, of course, will be no different. And we have to adapt to that right away and be ready to play and be ready to match their physicality and match their execution.
Yeah, and the one thing about it, if you look through the roster, they're a very senior-laden.
Very much so, yeah.
Football team, which 2 years ago, so most of these kids that played for Southeastern because they were sophomores back in the time you were there. So
yeah, they're doing it the right way. Coach Kelly has done a great job since he took over. They just continue to build and develop program kids, and we're doing the same thing over here. You see our weight room. Our kids are busting their butts right now, and we feel like we are doing a good job of developing our kids, and we just have to get our seniors to play absolute apex football in November, or in September, October, and November. And when I look back at our FC game, Seth Stone and Jacob Hoffman and Snacks Rogers, our TNT is really leading us and carrying us, and they're giving us a fighting chance. And those guys play so hard. Their weight room numbers are tremendous. And when you play a running back like Atavion Jordan from FC, it's just, man, he's a brute. We got to get a little bit lower on these really strong running backs. And now we're facing running backs that are not nearly as big, but they're light and quick. So we have to adjust to the speed of the game. Defensively, we know we're going to get a phenomenal effort from our TNT this week, and then it's up to our linebackers, OLBs, safeties, corners to finish up the job this week.
All right, Coach. Well, I appreciate it, and good luck at Southeastern this week. Another tough battle, but it sounds like you have the team shaping up and being ready to take on the Royals.
Oh, we're ready to go. We'll fight. Go Millers.
All right. Thank you, Coach.